Ho, 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 ho.
The darkness surrounds us. It's time to light up the night. It's time for Zero Dark 30 with John.
Yay!
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Welcome back, Zero Dark 30. John here, your host on, the Prepared Mind channel, our early show that we like to do just to get some information out there and get you thinking. And right now, folks, they're letting us know exactly what's coming. They really are. The puzzle pieces are all falling in line. They really are. What is happening out there? Well, let's take a quick peek, and then we'll just discuss some of the particulars and some theory, maybe. So, Nancy Mace, Representative Nancy Mace, who is an attractive woman in the Republican Party in Congress in Washington, D.C., has been on a battle as of late for the last several weeks, saying no more men in women's restrooms, no more men in women's sports. Get men out of women's private spaces. Well, she's been threatened and threatened and threatened, and now she's been assaulted by a trans man. Okay, this is continuing this idea that if you're trans, you're not mentally stable. Is that an idea? Is it a theory? Or is it fact? Well, the facts that are demonstrating themselves are that they are, right? They're mentally unstable. They've got delusional concepts in their heads. They do. They have delusional concepts in their heads. And they're violent, extremely violent, very, very violent. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Now, we have our good buddy, the United Healthcare, and I'm being facetious, of course, the United Healthcare would-be assassin, Luigi. Right? Luigi, really. Luigi. That's what we got, Luigi. Wrote a manifesto. And within 2 days, they released the manifesto fully to the public. You know why? Because they want the public to see it and see his reasoning. They want leftists everywhere to go, oh, wow, that's what inspired him? That's great. That is just fabulous. I can't wait to read all this stuff. Yeah. But the transgender mass murderer that killed children and killed adults, all of them Christians, they hid and continue to hide that transgender person's manifesto of hate and sexual depravity and ridiculousness. Yeah. So there's a reason. In one case, they hide it. In the other case, they show us. What does that tell us? Well, it tells us they want us to know, they want us to see. But who's the message really for? Well, the message is really for the leftists, but we get to see the puzzle pieces falling in place. They want violence against you and me and people in the headlines, people who are big shots like, well, Nancy Mace or President Trump. We know more about Luigi and his life and his medical condition and his mental condition and places he's lived and people he's seen. We know more about him, and we know about Crooks, who months ago allegedly was the shooter who shot Trump through the ear. Now, Crooks, we know he had many phones, a dozen cell phones. He had several bank accounts in foreign countries, and that's when they cut off all of the news, all of the information. We know jack shit about the person. But what do they want us? They want their people to have all the information and motivation for successful violence against others. So they release the manifestos. They make sure the leftist is out there. BLM is pushing for violence. Or this way, Jordan Neely, I think that was his name, but Daniel Penny was the white former Marine who's being called every name in the book for saving people of color and being helped by people of color and being praised by people of color. It's ridiculous, right? But they're trying. Everyone is primed. It's like the powder and the cannonball are in the cannon, and they've got the fuse, and it's lit. Well, they're trying to light it. Well, it's lit, but it's not going real well. But it's lit and it's ready, and they want this to go off. They're just not ready quite yet. Apparently, they're just not there yet. They just need a little bit more to get things going. What do you think? Are the puzzle pieces fitting? United Healthcare worker, not really a healthcare worker. CEO, big shot, big shot. And other CEOs and other important people are now feeling like they're in, right? Like they're in the crosshairs, like they're in danger. They are threatened. And they should, I guess that by all rights, they ought to feel that way. They really ought to, because it's not a safe world. Not for them, no. No. So is that what's going to happen? Wow. Are we going to have another? Are we going to have another Russian Revolution where wealthy people were murdered, where even the royal family, all the daughters were bayoneted to death? Well, folks, we got revolution right now, don't we? We've got Syria. We've got awful things happening around the world, and they're pushing for it. They're pushing it. They're pushing for World War III. They're threatening to use nuclear weapons. They want Republicans done. They want us removed. They hate us. They want us in camps. They want us in re-education camps and work camps and death camps. They want that. They want these things. The puzzle pieces, to me, are all fitting. They've completely radicalized these youths so much and convinced them that everyone else is the reason they're miserable. Literally, they're miserable. Yes, true. Understandably so, just observing them. But they think what they're doing is right and what we're doing is wrong, and that, let's see, culture, tradition, history, and even science is incorrect. Right? That they're correct, that they know what's going on, and by cutting off their genitals and taking lots of drugs, well, it's crazy business, folks. And there's a sleeping giant out there. There's an absolute sleeping giant that we don't know what the consequences are going to be. There's an entire generation of children that have been on mind control drugs. And all of that crap started years and years ago, folks. Years and years ago with ADHD, ADD, attention deficit disorder. That used to just be, well, hyperactive kids, man. They be hyperactive. They be kids. They're growing. Their bodies are changing. You know, we're excited. We're interested. We're whatever. Now they just drug them the fuck up. They want rambunctious little boys to be calm, docile little girls. Hell, so much so they tell them, you need to be a girl. They give them these drugs, antidepressants, to calm them down, to depress them. I love how they call an antidepressant, or they call a depressant an antidepressant. In any event, you know, everyone that takes these drugs as kids, they're jacked up, folks. I mean, some of them may be fine, but for the most part, in the world of science and psychology, they're saying there's no benefit to it. Now, a bigger question for me is, what kind of mental harm is this done? What are the downstream long-term consequences for these generations of kids who've been jacked up on drugs? We've seen we've seen a good percentage of them just lose their minds. In any event, folks, the puzzle pieces are falling in place. We see the violence coming. Get prepared, because chance favors the prepared mind. Happy Merry Christmas. Semper Fi. God bless.